Welcome to the SoberQ podcast.
Hello, my name is Seamus and I'm an alcoholic. And the question is, what spiritual qualities do we aspire to? Now, speaking from my experience, coming into AA, getting sober, going to meetings, working the 12 steps with my sponsor, and I was sort of introduced to these, kind of foreign concepts of, spirituality and these principles and, humility and, these weren't necessarily things that I really sort of cared about or really wanted to care about sort of back when I was, drinking, running a life on self-will and kind of being miserable as a consequence. And, the kind of qualities, if you could call them that, when, back when I was drinking, I was incredibly dishonest. I was selfish, arrogant, and miserable for it. So I guess it wasn't really too much of a stretch to accept that maybe by being the opposite of those things, the outcome could possibly also be the opposite. I could maybe be happy by being honest, living unselfishly. And, going through the steps with my sponsor, doing my 4th step and doing a 5th step and, having them sort of show me an outside view, because, before that I had a very narrow-minded kind of idea of how my life was and how it should be and how I behaved. And, there was that outside view of someone who was sort of living, a spiritual life based on, these spiritual qualities that they were living. I was able to see really and be sort of willing to accept, those kind of hard truths that were kind of told to me about, my behavior. And, I'm grateful that I had that sort of open-mindedness and sort of willingness to accept that sort of, that kind of new perception of things I had in my 4th step about how my self-will run right life was working out for me. Short answer, not that well. And, understanding that, from my weaknesses, I'm able to kind of gain strength by kind of acknowledging that they exist and then taking the action to then, do the opposite essentially, and then align myself to this kind of ideal of the person I want to be, the kind of person that I see, happy, sober in, the meetings that I go to. And, by, understanding that, through open-mindedness, sort of willingness, honesty, acceptance, humility, and, humility by being able to take all those things and change to align those ideals. I'm able to, live a life of freedom, happy, sober. So, they say progress not perfection, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And, thanks for letting me share. Have a great day.
If you would like to share your experience on a recovery question, visit the SoberQ podcast website at soberq.com. Thanks for listening.